Hi everybody, I'm Wayne Dawson.
And I'm Christy Cable, and today we're sharing stories, special stories of Cleveland companies.
Companies that are all in when it comes to their communities. Businesses that care about their neighborhoods. Businesses that could have easily moved to the suburbs, but decided to stick it out in the inner city where they started.
Perfect for this time of year, embracing the spirit of giving. Today we bring you Neighborhood Giving Back.
We begin with a business that's been part of Cleveland's Slavic Village neighborhood for 80 years. I had the pleasure of talking with Third Federal's Mark Stefanski.
This was our commitment. We did this for our 65th anniversary.
Okay.
This is the wall of commitment, and we had all of our associates put their handprints on there for a stronger, better community.
Community. That's what Mark Stefanski and Third Federal Savings and Loan are all about. 80 years in Cleveland's Slavic Village neighborhood, a company with assets totaling nearly $14 billion. How many square feet are we talking about here?
We have 150,000 square feet.
Oh my.
And we have about 500 people that work here in this building. These folks over here handle the delinquencies.
Okay.
Say hi to my family.
Hello, family. How you doing? You don't want to get a call from them.
No.
Here they are, the founders,
Yes.
Mom and Dad. When you look at that picture, what do you think of? What do you think?
It makes me think I better be doing my job because
They're looking over your
they're
shoulder.
looking over my shoulder all the time.
Indeed, Ben and his wife, Jerome Stefanski, founded Third Federal back in 1938, and its headquarters remains anchored in the neighborhood where it started.
These are our roots. The Slavic Village community is our roots. My family, my grandparents, were born and raised here. My father was born and raised here, and my mother. And we want to continue the legacy of my family.
Which is unusual for a company to stay in the very neighborhood where they were founded.
It's very unusual, but in this case it's worked out. The interesting thing was that the land was available because this was pretty much turning into a slum neighborhood.
And you guys invested in it even though it wasn't the best of neighborhoods back then.
We've invested over $100 million in this neighborhood over the last few years.
Talk about some of the ways that you are giving back, not only to Slavic Village, but to Northeast Ohio.
We have a wonderful program with education here in the city. It's called Peace 16. It takes care of families and kids from prenatal to 16 through 16 years of high school and beyond even. And what we do with that is we want to educate the kids, educate the families, want to make sure that there's a well-established, well-educated group of kids coming up so they can get back to the society and be prosperous themselves. There's many other things we do with housing, and we have a big development going on behind our office here. We're going to build 200 homes here in this area. And of course, we have our foundation, the Third Federal Foundation.
What's that about?
That basically, it funds things like the education programs, but does more than just education. It helps out different community groups like Slavic Village Development, Boys and Girls Club, and different entities within this area in Slavic Village.
You've done some stuff with the Cleveland Metropolitan School District as well.
Yes, when we first started our foundation back in 2007, we gave $1 million to the schools. And that was just the beginning of our investment in the inner city.
Now you look around and I see a few things named after your family. Talk about that here in Slavic Village.
Well, we did help build a stadium for Cleveland Central Catholic. And like I said, education's a big piece. But athletics along with education's a big thing too.
What do you think your father would say as far as what the company he founded is doing for Cleveland and all of Northeast Ohio?
Well, I think he'd be ecstatic.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah, he loved the people of this neighborhood. He loved Cleveland. He at one time thought of changing the name of the company to Cleveland Federal Savings, but that was already taken.
Third Federal Savings and Loan and Cleveland's Slavic Village community, an 80-year relationship, an ongoing commitment of support and financial stability. And the best is yet to come. What are you most proud of?
Well, I'm proud that I could be a steward here for the last 30 years. And hopefully I've done some justice for and honoring my family, my parents' legacy that they created here, and that we left a mark on the community that is indelible, that will be built to last, and hopefully the next generation will be able to continue that thought.
Coming up on Neighborhood, giving back. Ice cream always makes people smile, and you'll have an even bigger grin when you hear what Pierre's is up to. Also, an inspirational man who's making a difference in so many lives, and it all starts with a haircut. And so much more than baseball. Cleveland Indians charities doing great things. We'll be right back.
We've changed locations. Public Square, the heart of downtown Cleveland, all decked out for the holidays. The hustle and bustle that's been a part of our city for more than 200 years.
And you know what all this snow reminds me of, Wayne?
What?
Ice cream. I spent some time with Cleveland's ice cream queen, Shelly Roth of Pierre's.
Sea salt caramel toffee crunch. It's a caramel background, a salted caramel fudge.
I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. And not just any ice cream. The gourmet, creamy, indulgent flavors of Cleveland's own Pierre's. President and CEO Shelly Roth says it's more than just the name.
It's really about the ingredients. It's about the craftsmanship of our staff that know what they're doing. And blending it all together, it's just a bigger machine instead of a churn. It's just giant churns.
When Pierre's opened its doors in 1932, its ice cream was prepared fresh each day and sold by the cone, the cup, or hand-packed for take-home. Company founder Alexander Pierre Bassett dreamed of marketing a premium ice cream, which we all know today would be unsurpassed.
Why did the company stay and expand in this area?
When we did it in the early 90s, or began the process in the early 90s, and you look through some of the pictures of the before and after, it seemed like it's all happened really quickly, but the transformation in the neighborhood took a good 25 years. But it's so amazing now to see the change, and I feel really good because I believe we planted the seed in this part.
And through the years, the Midtown neighborhood has remained home.
Oh wow, we have a long history here. Actually, the entire history of the company is within 1 square mile of this location. We started out as a little ice cream shop on about 83rd and Euclid Avenue.
From the humble beginnings with its original flavors of French vanilla, Swiss chocolate, and strawberry.
1, 2, 3, go.
Pierre's, now a 35,000 square foot ice cream factory, has an amazing assortment with over 235 different products and flavors.
We have a flavor that's still on the market. It's delicious. It's mint with cookies and thick fudge. Sorbet is a non-dairy frozen dessert made with fruit purees. And we have also a chocolate sorbet. So for people that want no dairy, but they want a refreshing dessert like that, our sorbet is excellent.
But what's the secret to making Pierre's better than the rest?
We put a lot of time and effort into choosing the most delicious ingredients. So that's really important. There are dozens of vanilla extracts, and we believe ours is the best. We choose really high-quality fruits and nuts and toppings, cocos, and blend them together and uphold temperature controls that also impact quality. So the whole way we choose and blend things together and then freeze them make the highest quality ice cream.
Pierre's has always remained committed to the community by demonstrating loyalty to education and redevelopment of its urban neighborhood.
We partnered with the Cleveland Police Department when they wanted to reach out to the community and improve the dialogue between the police department and the community, and also emphasize safety to young residents of the city. So for the past 2 summers, we've helped sponsor this initiative where they go to the recreation centers and the pools and the camps and have the police force handing out ice cream.
And because of that, Pierre's has even been recognized for their outstanding performance as a supplier and corporate citizen.
We've been recognized by Tri-C for our help with some of the things we do toward education within the community. We've been recognized by the mayor's office for our help with the safety programs.
Every so often, there are ideas Pierre's wants to elevate in the community by honoring special places in Cleveland. And it all starts with a name.
One such flavor was Emerald Necklace. Our park system is incredible, and to have a flavor that helps bring attention to the park system and the Emerald Necklace, we thought would be kind of cool. Another idea we worked on was with the Art Museum when it was their big anniversary, and we created a flavor called Sunday at the Museum and helped celebrate their year-long anniversary events.
It's an amazing thing Shelley has done to continue the legacy of this company, something her father started so many years ago. But it's more about what her father instilled in her.
He set the pace as a mentor to teach me and gave me the knowledge and the confidence and the trust to do whatever was necessary. So I learned a lot from him. I loved working with him. He was my best friend, and it was a great experience.
So what is the future for Pierre's?
New products, new flavors, refreshing our package design, and also we've been selling our ice cream in China.
Really?
Yeah, so we hope that continues to grow.
Next on Neighborhood Giving Back, you're sure to get into the holiday spirit when you hear this man's story.
I'm doing this for the love of people, not for the love of money.
And from meals to gifts and literally saving baseball in the Cleveland schools, meet one of the driving forces behind Cleveland Indians charities.
Welcome back to Neighborhood Giving Back. We're highlighting Cleveland businesses that give back to the community.
And Christy, it's not only larger businesses that are really helping their neighborhoods. There's a man by the name of Waverly Willis. He owns a business called Urban Cuts on the city's west side. He is doing a lot. Check it out. I'm outside the Urban Cuts Barbershop on the city's west side, Pearl Road, where they just don't cut your hair. They cut down on a man's chances of having a stroke or heart disease by offering medical checkups. Let's go inside. I'm with Waverly Willis, the owner of Urban Cuts. Shaw High grad, you know I had to say that.
Absolutely.
Had
Go
to say
Cardinals.
Shaw High. Talk about your establishment, man. How long you been in business?
Well, I've been in business at this location for 5 years now, and I opened up my first location 10 years ago on the corner of 111 and Detroit Avenue. And I've been very fortunate. The city of Cleveland has definitely rallied around me. And I know that it's not just because I'm a good barber, it's because I constantly give back to the community.
You care about the community, which is the thing and this is all about. Talk about some of the things you offer here. Very unusual for a barbershop.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that, Mr. Dawson, because my goal is to not make it be unusual for a barbershop. One of the programs that we offer is a lot of guys, unfortunately, come into the barbershop, they have a felony background. So we got a list right here, and everything is sponsored through the Urban Barber Association, which is a nonprofit. On this list is hundreds of jobs, good companies, corporations that hire people with a felony background. So we pass this out, and we funnel this not only at Urban Cuts Barbershop, but several barbershops throughout the city.
Okay.
You know, I think that the barbershop is a strategic point of entry into anyone's life.
Absolutely.
Over here, we got blood pressure. You know, you can come to the barbershop and get your blood pressure taken. Unfortunately, men as a whole, we don't go to the doctor unless something is falling off. So we decided to bring the physician straight to them. So it's a partnership with the American Heart Association.
Now you have a personal story to tell when it comes to men and getting checkups.
Well, yes, absolutely. Many years ago when I first started, I would find that my clientele was starting to disappear. And when I would run into someone, a wife or a daughter at the neighborhood grocery store, I would ask them what happened to him. And they would tell me that he passed away because, you know, he didn't take his blood pressure medication. And I took that personally because, you know, I know that I see these guys at least once or twice a month. And I know that the influence that I have in saying, hey man, have you been taking your blood pressure? And at the time and still today, you know, I struggle with my weight, I struggle with my blood pressure. So, you know, I also took the initiative to lose 200 pounds over the last 3 or 4 years and get my blood pressure controlled.
So what made you bring it into the barbershop?
Well, because again, the barbershop is a strategic point of entry. You know, we all come to the barbershop and laugh and
tell stories.
Cry about the Browns and unfortunately the Cavs now. But you know what? I wanted people to come away with something more tangible. You know, so you'll be surprised that, you know, they come in, they get their blood pressure checked. Now we're exchanging vegetarian recipes and things of that
That's
nature
good stuff.
right inside the barbershop.
Yeah, and you also have a reading program?
Right. We have a reading program. It's called Literacy in the Hood, as well as the Barbershop Literacy Project. And the young kids, they come into the barbershop. We got a small library of books inside the barbershop, and they come, they read to the kids. When the kids are waiting to get service, they don't tear up our barbershop, number one, and it promotes child literacy.
A lot more than the barbershop. Talk about your commitment, man, and your passion for giving back to the community.
Again, I've been in business for 10 years now, and what has made me such a success is not the fact that I cut hair good, it's the fact that I give. So I'm just reaping all of the seeds that I'm continuing to plant in the city.
Well, since I am here at Urban Cuts and they do offer blood pressure readings, I figure I might as well make sure I'm okay. Now tell me, what should what are the good numbers as far as blood pressure is concerned, Lisa?
So when you think about a healthy blood pressure range, you want to make sure that your blood pressure is at least less than 120/80.
High blood pressure can lead to stroke or cardiac arrest.
What's my blood pressure? 120/68. I'm healthy as a horse. That's all I can say.
Coming up on Neighborhood, giving back. Batter up, for charity that is. How one of Cleveland's best-known teams helps our community.
Welcome back to Neighborhood Giving Back. Progressive Field, Jacobs Field, the Jake, Indians Ballpark, whatever you call it, you know what's going on the baseball field.
Well, there's some things going on in the front office you may not be familiar with. Meet the group that literally saved baseball for Cleveland schools. We're at the Indians front office at Progressive Field, and I'm here with the man, Bobby DiBiasio, and he is the president of charities along with many, many other duties. We love when you're on our show.
Thank you, Christy.
We love what the Indians do for the community.
Thank
you. You guys are amazing. And you know what's great is you have such an amazing platform that you can help the community.
Well, we feel we have a special responsibility and a unique responsibility to lend a helping hand to those who are underserved in our community. We're not a large company. There's only about 160 or 70 of us in this building, but obviously we play on a much larger stage than 170 people. So our responsibility we take very seriously to help the kids of Northeast Ohio, enjoy the great game of baseball or softball, but the life lessons they learn from being an athlete
and what's
and
great
playing.
is you guys care about the education and the health of the youth.
Yes, that's all part of it, is the health and wellness. Indians Charity supports educational, recreational, and health and wellness initiatives in the city of Cleveland. Our three most important groups that we assist with are the Cleveland Municipal School District. We fully fund the high school baseball and girls softball programs. Without us, there would be no boys playing high school hardball, there would be no girls playing high school softball.
And there was a time where somebody said, we're just going to get rid of softball and baseball.
Absolutely.
And you said, no way.
No way. Well, Mr. Dolan said no way was the most important aspect to it all. But I got a phone call from the athletic director, Mr. Jackson, who said he just walked out of a budget meeting and there were only two sports, one girls, one boys sport in the fall, winter, and spring. And track was going to win out for the boys and girls over baseball and softball. So I hung up the phone, called Larry Dolan right away, explained to him the conversation, and he says, Bobby, could you imagine? He was a catcher for St. Ignatius. He also played fullback for St. Ignatius, but he was a catcher on St. Ignatius's baseball team. He says, could you imagine not playing baseball in your senior year for your high school? There were no memos. There was no big proposal you had to write. It was from the gut and the heart. We have to help. How can we not help? So call them back immediately, tell them that we will support them if we have to fully, and we've been doing so for decades.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Tell everyone about CIC.
CIC was established back in 1989, to make a major league impact on the youth of Northeast Ohio. Again, we do so educationally, recreationally, health and wellness. The Boys and Girls Clubs is another one of the benefactors of Indians Charities.
I love the Boys and Girls Club. I used to volunteer.
What Ron Soder and his group have done at the Boys and Girls Clubs, we've been together with them going on 30 years now.
Wow. So what do you hope for the future with the charity work for the Indians?
One of the things that we're doing most recently, now that have been in this obviously since 1989, and we have the institutional togetherness and connections with the Cleveland Municipal School District, the Boys and Girls Clubs, the Cleveland Baseball Federation, through the game of baseball, teaching all the life lessons that when you're an athlete, you learn discipline, sportsmanship, you learn the positive sense of competition. You learn all those wonderful life lessons through the sports.
Yes, Sarah.
Woo! We've now decided, after we've had that for decades, helping thousands and thousands of youngsters, what's next? And the next item was coach development and field improvements. We want these young people who are playing baseball to have coaches who understand what it means that they have these kids that they're there to mold and help and provide as a resource, and what are the most important things a coach can do to help a youngster, and especially the game of baseball, which is one of the most difficult games for young people to play, because hitting a ball is one of the most difficult skills there is.
90 miles an hour.
Exactly. Even in Little League, though, it's not an easy thing to do. And then field improvements. You know, with our climate, kids playing baseball here in the spring and the summer, it's not always easy.
Then the winter ruins the field.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we want to make sure it's like walking into a new home. If a kid has a great field to play on, we do the equipment, the uniforms, the umpires, scorekeeping, we have all of those things, infrastructure. We're pretty good at it because we've been doing it in a while. Yeah. Now it's really a focus on getting those fields improved so these kids can feel good about and go and practice on their own in their neighborhoods, that they feel real good about the fields that they play on. So there's a lot of good people in this front office that work awfully hard to make sure that we're lending a helping hand in the city for the youngsters.
Thank you very much for spending the last 30 minutes with us for Neighborhood Giving Back.
We wish you all the best this holiday season, and who knows, maybe we've inspired you to give back to your own communities.
Happy holidays.